Good evening, everyone. I told you I was coming back if something else comes up. And I was about to shut down. Let me go check this. I was about to shut down, y'all. But what happened was I forgot I had something in the Okay. All right. All righty. All righty now. Happy Friday evening, everyone. You know, some things you just don't want to say it, but you got to say it anyway because you're not here to serve a man, woman, or anybody but God. And when you see something don't look right, don't smell right, you got to call it out because it can help somebody. And just before I was going to shut down this evening, I came across Officer Tatum's post that he's still going so hard and protecting and defending these criminals. You know, these young boys, they did something and they trying to cover it up. And everything, the way they moving, everything they doing right now just shows me they're guilty. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Okay? They did something to Nolan. And they know what they did. They got money, they got political influence, and I noticed that these black platforms like Officer Tatum, who was also supposedly a very good friend of Charlie Kirk, and also them boys, somebody in the group have power, political power. Then to come to find out, we're gonna go to the video, but I'm just gonna just hold out for a minute. Just hold out for 1 minute. And I noticed that they hit Al Sharpton with a subpoena. Why are you attacking the grieving mother, the people that are standing for this family? They attacked her job. Then they coming for Trump, and they coming for Ben Crump. I mean, they coming for, I'm sorry, Al Sharpton, and they coming for Ben Crump. Don't that speak to you that where they getting all this power, where they getting the money, why they trying to cover up so much, these are the platforms that are speaking and defending these boys, these Nolan peers, these people that were with Nolan in the last moments of his life. Why are y'all covering up for them people? Who is giving y'all the money on your platform to spin this narrative? And everything leads to Blexit, and one leads to Blexit and TPS USA. One of those boys, I think it was a grandparent or somebody, is associated as part of the organization of TPS USA. Notice all the stuff that been going on in this climate of these lynchings, and also what happened with Nolan Wells, Carmelo Anthony. All of that falls under these people. Why hasn't the FBI stepped in yet? Why? They are covering up, and this is what I said. I said, Nolan, Xavier, stop telling black America what not to question. I have questions, and I want no stone left unturned. Why are some black conservative platforms working so hard to tell us what Nolan Xavier Wells' death was not, when investigators still have not publicly answered everything about what it was? Why rush to remove race from the conversation? Nolan was an 18-year-old black young man in Mississippi who went to Horn Island on 4th of July with a mostly white group of friends. Nolan was the one who didn't come home. His body was found 2 days later. So yes, black America should ask questions. Why did Nolan supposedly remain behind? Why did his phone make it back to the mainland without him? Why did his keys make it back without him? Why has his family questioned the explanation that Nolan voluntarily stayed behind? Why did authorities initially say they did not suspect foul play before all the questions had been answered? Why did an independent autopsy ultimately classify his manner of death as undetermined and say foul play could not be ruled out? And why should nobody expect black Americans to completely remove racial history from our minds when it happened in Mississippi? We know Mississippi history. We know America's history of black boys and black men being lynched. That history does not prove Nolan was lynched, but that history is exactly why investigations should be extraordinary throughout, thorough, before telling his family or black America that race had nothing to do with this death. And I have another question. Why were people connected to Nolan's friend group so comfortable speaking with black conservative media? That doesn't prove wrongdoing either, but I want to know who contacted whom. Why that platform? What relationships existed beforehand, if any? Was there political organization, campus, organization, TPS, USA, Blexit, connections, or ideology networks involving anybody surrounding this case? If this weren't clear it through the evidence. I am not accusing somebody because they are white, conservative, MAGA, or Christian. I am saying investigate everything. And don't tell me black Americans are wrong for remembering history while asking these questions. We remember Emmett Till. We remember what happened when authorities didn't take the deaths of black people seriously. And now Nolan's own family, Benjamin Crump, the NWAC, and members of Congress are demanding deeper scrutiny. So I am asking again, where is the full federal investigation? Follow the phones. Follow the deleted communications. If investigators establish there were any, follow GPS and social media records. Follow every boat and every person on that island. Establish the complete timeline. Examine every witness statement for inconsistencies. And if investigators uncover extremist racial, political, or organizational connections, follow those too. If the evidence proves this was an accident, then give Nolan's parents the evidence. If the evidence proves something else happened, then bring everybody responsible into the light. But do not predetermine the answer. The scripture and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. Ephesians 5:11, and I will add Cain question, am I my brother's keeper? Genesis 4:9. Yes. When a young man leaves with his friends and is the one who doesn't make it home, somebody needs to explain what happened to Nolan Xavier Wells. No stone unturned, no political protection, no racial assumptions either way. Just the whole truth. Bam. Don't tell me these people ain't involved. Everything that's I'm being sick that God is showing me. Officer Tatum, you going hard for these boys. Blexit, Charlie Kirk, TPS USA, money, power, political influence, MAGA, racial rhetoric all over with Jack Lang, Chuck the Builder. All of this leads to you people harming black people. And one of the victims was 16 years old. A 16-year-old girl was found hanging. They not talking about it. Why would a young person be trusting enough to go somewhere with somebody and not think anything is going to happen to them? Ask yourself that question. A 16-year-old? Why would a 16-year-old? Let's go look this up, y'all. I'm serious. I'm telling you. These people are doing some harm because most of the people that's involved probably are young people. Let's go in there. 16-year-old young black girl lynched. A black teen found hanged near Charlotte Church was a suicide. You see what I'm saying? All this shit is suicide. The same playbook. The same playbook, y'all. Why would a 16-year-old be found hanging? Delta, Mississippi. Trey, that young man, he was a student. A lot of them were students. A lot of them was similar to the same age group. What was these young people? And they all young. They in their 20s, they in their teens, and the only thing I could think about is those two organizations. A black teen found hanged near Charlotte Church was a suicide, police say. Question remain. In early May, a man walking his dog through his North Charlotte neighborhood spotted what appeared to be someone standing still by a tree in a shady churchyard. His dog tagged him closer. As he approached, he realized to his horror the figure was a lifeless black girl held up by a ratchet strap around her neck. Her feet in slip-on sandals rested on the ground near a blue toddler-sized chair. The ratchet strap, typically used for securing truck cargo, was wrapped around a leaning tree trunk at least twice the girl's height. This was on Friday afternoon. By Monday, the medical examiners ruled her death as suicide. All of these deaths are used as suicide. Black. The girl was 16 years old, Juliana Umba Nazir, who had been missing for several days. Juliana was active in her church, and her family lived in a two-story house in a Charlotte cul-de-sac about a 20-minute walk from where she was found. Her family, who immigrated from the Congo, described her smile as warm, her demeanor as gentle. She also struggled with her mental health and severe bullying at school, an uncle said. Some of Juliana's family questioned the conclusion that she died by suicide. So have members of the reason why, because she was a foreign black young girl. Nobody's telling her story. But she was a young immigrant child, 16 years old, and we know how these little African girls are with their little white boyfriends and their little white boys and little white kids. I'm telling you, leave no stone unturned. Leave no stone unturned. And those people, the Charlie people, I don't put nothing past them. Okay? They are being taught white supremacy at their little TPS USA, and then there's some families that are involved with this, and they are recruiting their children. Look at what's going on around now. Carmelo Anthony's trial. And all these white kids, they got political influence. Look at what happened at Carmelo's trial. And they all registered Republican, even though we already told you. Just because you registered the Republican doesn't mean you truly follow the policies and what it stands for. You could be still a Republican and still have supremacy in your heart. And all of this is going on under Trump's administration. Not saying that Trump have anything to do with it, but look at it. But it may not be the Trump administration. It could be anybody. But I'm just saying, it just something just don't seem right to me. And the way this man here is going so hard for them. This man here, Tatum, let's go to another conservative channel. This lady here, Linda B. Why are these black conservative platforms attacking Nolan Wells' grieving mother instead of demanding the truth? You know, just follow these platforms. Listen to them spinning the narrative. They all have the same talking points, protecting each other, attacking black injustice, talking about black people all the time, always tearing us down, always talking about all the negative side of us, but they don't see these white people. They don't remember the history of black Americans and the history behind lynching. Notice how they trying to like dismiss it and like, oh, not make it racial, and they protecting it, and they going so goddamn hard. They going more goddamn hard on their platform than white folks. So that should tell you something. They are covering up, and they know who's doing this, and they're getting paid. Somebody with some money, lots of money, using these black voices as a distraction, and as to spin a narrative and to piss black people off and have black people attacking black people instead of really seeing the truth. White supremacy is all written around them. White supremacy. And somebody with a lot of money sitting up there doing it. FBI haven't stepped in yet. Where's Kash Patel? Y'all ask yourself that question. With that being said, your girl KC, I'm out. Peace.